Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to another episode here over at the TV Terminal. We're covering The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 4, Day 1. My name is Adam Vale, Senior Editor over at thecoalition.com.
And I'm Josh Lamage, writer for The Coalition. We're excited to get into this today.
Oh yeah. We had some hiccups at the beginning. We had some stuff going on, trying to get things set up for the show. It's a whole bunch of
these images, man.
It's the images. We're trying to get things in order and just so that way it's an easy flow. We get it. Everyone's watched this show already. It's like, I don't need to see this, but it just gives a little more context, especially if you watched it and then we're talking about certain points and then you don't remember, or maybe you do remember and you're seeing it in a different way. That's all it's about, right? Just putting it into a little order here. But anyway, quick housekeeping. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in, whether it's here on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We're seeing the numbers go up. We're seeing people listen and engage and comment. That's great. That's what happens. This is new. This is a new channel. We ourselves are not new to this platform, but this is new for us. And this is a fun project. We got some stuff going on. We're dealing with The Last of Us here. We're doing this coverage. Also, as you see, Lawrence and I are doing Mobland. We're also going to start doing Murderbot, which is the Apple Plus show, and then we got some other things later on planned out. So bunch of things. So if you're interested in all these type of shows that we're just talking about, please like and subscribe.
Lots of content coming your way.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff. It's different. This is a different approach. You know, we're taking a different approach toward this from compared to a lot of other sites, and we'll see what happens. Hey, you like it? You like it. All right, but man, this was a lot. This
really good episode.
Really good episode because it follows almost scene for scene of the game. Like I said, I just did the review for the remastered version on the Steam Deck, so I had to replay it, and so it's really fresh in my mind. And as I'm watching this episode, excluding the truck, which we'll get into, everything else is pretty much on point. Yeah. I was really surprised because most of the time, whenever there are these adaptations, whether it's movies or TV shows, there's a change, which makes sense. It's something else. You want to spice things up.
Like Uncharted.
Uncharted. What a disaster. I mean, yeah, that's going way too off. Or, hey, look at Flash Gordon. If you remember the old Flash, with Queen and all that. That was a completely different take, but it worked out. It still worked out. It was just... Yeah, it's a classic, but that wasn't the plan. So yeah, it could be a hit or miss. So far, this has been a hit. This is great, especially for people that did not play the game. And if this is your first time tuning in to us, I'm like, oh, they're just going to do the... No. We're not going to do that. We're not going to put you in that spot. If you're someone who just watching the show, not familiar with the game, that's fine. We'll bring up whenever it matches with the game, but we're not jumping ahead. We're not going to do a comparison.
No spoilers.
Why did they do this? Yeah, no spoilers. There's plenty of other sites out there that you can go follow and find that out if that's what you're looking for.
So the episode starts with Fedra soldiers in a truck, and they're all joking around about some guy named Greenberg who saw a bunch of voters, standing around, and basically he interrogated them, fought one of them, and smashed one of the guy's faces into the wall or something. And they're all laughing.
There was the scars. It turns out there were scars, or they call them the voters.
The voters.
And then there was somebody else in the truck, the Humvee there, and he was like, they're citizens. Why do you call them voters? Like, I don't know. That's what we always call them. And then Sarge, Isaac, chimes in, and he says there was a name given to them to mock them because they lost their right to vote.
Yep. So it just shows that, now they're in kind of like a dictatorship kind of thing going on. So, and it was really cool because the guy that was telling the whole Greenberg story was a famous actor, Josh Peck. He used to be in Drake and Josh. So it was really cool seeing him in like a situation.
I don't know. I thought you were making that up.
No, I'm not making it up. It's Drake and Josh.
You like making up stuff.
Everybody watching this, we know Drake and Josh. Adam doesn't.
I don't know.
It's okay. It's all right. It's a great show.
I know Yo Gabba Gabba. Was that on there? Is that no, this
Well,
ain't
Yo
Prince,
Gabba Gabba, yeah, no, it was.
DJ Prince ain't in. Okay,
No, but Paramount Plus, I think you can catch up on that. But
nice,
yes,
nice.
so so the truck stops. They see some people walking outside. Isaac gets out, and then he points to one of the newbies, and I guess you could tell he's new because he seems really innocent. He doesn't know
I
why
think
everyone's
they're all new because he referred them to all of them as Greenbergs. He was like, "You're all Greenbergs." I remember he was like, "Everybody stay in here. I'm gonna get out." He gets out.
because maybe Greenberg was someone that didn't have patience and attacked anybody that spoke against him. So maybe he's saying that he was more diplomatic in that sense. But then he brought the young guy out, and you're
Mm-hmm.
wondering why. And then he goes up to what's her name, Hanaran.
Hannaran, that's what I'm looking at here.
Yeah, Hanaran.
Yeah.
And she's also a comedian too. She's pretty funny. She was in that show about Ted.
The show about Ted, what the teddy bear Ted?
Yeah, the teddy bear Ted. She was the mom.
Oh, she was oh no,
Yeah,
that's not her.
that's her. That is her.
No,
That is
really?
her. Yeah.
Oh my
It's cool to
god,
see her in a different role
she
like
looks
that.
completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, she's great in that. I love that. I can't wait till the second season. That was
So
such a funny show.
yeah, it was a great show. So she goes up to him. She goes, "Are you Isaac?" He goes, "Yeah." I guess they've communicated in some way. The new guy's confused. And Isaac turns around to the truck, opens the truck up, throws in some grenades
He
or smoke
throws in
bombs. He throws,
yeah, no, it was a live grenade. I don't
yeah,
think it was smoke bomb. Yeah, he threw a grenade. He closed the door and kaboom! One guy gets out. He shoots him. He looks at the newbie guy. He makes a comment to him. He was like, "Have you made your
make your
choice?"
choice.
I mean, what do you say at that point? They're like, "Well, is it really a choice? If I say no to you, I end up like the jabroni that just got out of the truck, gets shot
Yeah.
in the head."
And
No thanks.
this guy playing Isaac is great too. He's
Oh,
he
as
was in
Bernard,
Westworld.
Westworld.
Yeah.
Oh man, he was a Day of the Jackal. He was part of that. The CIA agent. I mean, he's everywhere. He's also in What If. He's the narrator over on
Oh,
all
is he real? Oh,
the.
he's
Yeah,
in.
he's the
Oh, that's so
narrator.
sick. Yeah, he has a great voice.
Yeah, yeah. The guy's just done everything. Oh man, I could swear.
Staying booked and busy.
Oh man, he was also in Boardwalk Empire. Toward the last seasons, he popped up on that. He's everywhere, but I'm really surprised to see him in this type of role.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen him in the muscle type,
Yeah.
And then you see there's some scenes he's jacked. I mean, he worked out for this.
So then the next scene it cuts and it shows that
There she is.
well
There,
yeah,
man.
and she has a whole little squad of
Yeah. I don't see it. Well, I guess
yeah,
it's her voice. It's that voice that she puts on for Ted.
yeah,
And
that strong Boston accent.
yeah, and we didn't get that here, and maybe we will, maybe we won't. I mean, that's for the other show, but it's great. I'm sure she's going to play a major part in all this because
Oh yeah.
this is the whole thing for this is the wolves.
Yeah, it's the start
So
of
we're seeing that point of when he decided to cross over. So he was part of Fedra. Now he's here. Now this is the same truck that comes back later on in the episode, right? Or something similar. I'm thinking of.
you're thinking of the tank that they see later?
Oh yeah, my bad. The tank, because the tank that was a key moment in the game. That was optional. You could walk away from that, or you
Yeah.
could interact.
All right, so then it cuts and it shows that scene in the beginning was 11 years earlier. So it really shows, the beginning of everything. And now we're back to, Dina and Ellie, day one, Seattle. They're
Roaming
rummaging.
around that
Yeah.
pharmacy, looking up for some goodies, and making jokes what they can find, what they can't find. But Dina finds something that's very useful.
Yeah.
Especially now, and it's a pregnancy test. They don't show it at that scene, but we pretty much know what it is because once she says, "Hey, I think I have to take a pee," it's like, yeah, we get it. We get what's going on here.
Yeah, and then we don't see her take the test, but when she comes back out and finds Ellie again, you could tell, something's up. Ellie even asks like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, everything's good." But you could tell, she just got some information. So she gets on the back of the horse and they continue on. But that's obviously a big story point right there. Handling a pregnancy, and a lot of these stories always have this kind of thing. We've seen it in The Walking Dead. We've seen it in A Quiet Place, like these situations where it's like apocalyptic and life goes on, right? So, but
Keep going. Bringing
yeah.
things up here.
So let's see. Oh, it was really cool as they're like riding around this area and they're
Just meant
looking
to
for
see the
stuff.
rainbows.
Yeah, they see the rainbow flags
I was like,
obviously
oh.
pride,
Mhm.
but she's like, what are they seem like really happy people, I
Yeah,
guess,
really heavy people. And then that's when they see all the dead bodies everywhere. It was like, oh, what happened here? Which is funny that it's a lot of these bodies are still laying there
Yeah.
after all this time. When granted, it's not really linked to the 11 year and all that stuff, but still, something happened not too long ago because their bodies are still there. And then that's when they see a tank, and they were surprised to see that tank up
And they
close.
look through the bodies and it's mostly Fedra, so they're
Yeah,
wondering like,
all
okay, who are
Fedra.
they fighting? Like, I guess
Mhm.
they were infighting, fighting each other.
Well,
So
then, yeah, that's why I was wondering if this was linked at some point with that time that maybe some other people showed up, they saw what happened, and there was a divide. Now we
yeah.
do know why that happened, right? If I'm linking it correctly, the way they're explaining it in this show of why it happened, and it comes later on, we'll get to it with the scene with Isaac, with the frying pan.
Yeah. Well, I get it,
But
it shows that people are switching allegiances,
yeah, 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 yeah.
switching allegiances, not feeling, Fedra's leading them in the right direction. And,
No, no, no.
you
We'll
know,
get there. We'll get there. All right. So, she finds the tank. She opens up the hatch. It makes a loud noise. Dina's pointing her gun. She was like, anything could just jump out at
yeah.
this point because she's looking for ammo.
I love how Dina is so on top of everything. She's basically like in the sense how Joel was teaching Ellie how to survive and navigate the world and being the one that's still on alert. Like she's got that because you notice the moment she goes, we need to find like, you know, a place that we could shimmy into. And Dina's like, oh, I'm already on that. But before that, she looks up and she sees the WLF tower.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, let's go in there, guns blazing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Ellie's crazy. She just wants to go in, and it's like, yeah, let's just do this right now. And she's like, no, that's. I mean, there's a reason why they wrote big letters up front, and it's up
yeah,
there because they're letting you know they're there, and if you come at them, they can see you. It's broad
yeah.
daylight, so they come up with a plan. I was like, all right, let's go in the cover of night,
Ellie's
and we'll.
Ellie's still thinking that it's just 6 people. Like, she's thinking that it's just like a little,
I
you know?
don't know why she's thinking that, or maybe she's just tunnel vision.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
100%.
I don't care. I just want to go get my vengeance, find Abby, put her 6 feet under, and go back home and roast some marshmallows.
So they find a little place to go, and it turns out, ironically, to be a music store. And,
Music store,
you see
big
some
doors. You can fit the horse, right? Because that was all Shimmer. That was the whole point. It was like
Yeah,
we need to find a spot that we could bring in Shimmer. Now, this was in the game. This
yeah.
right here, this whole scene here was in the game.
And again, we see the guitar representing, Ellie and Joel and their relationship and, what Joel meant to Ellie and teaching her how to play guitar. And we find Ellie, she goes upstairs and she finds this guitar in the box, mint condition. She tunes it. And I guess she has good ears to tune it like that, but she tunes it
She tunes
and
it.
and she starts playing. And, at first I was like, okay, is she just gonna play like a little song on the guitar? And then she started singing, which I was like,
She
all right,
plays
cool.
"Take on Me" by
Yeah.
Aha.
Yeah.
And again, that's in the game. That happens in the game, and you play that. For those
Yeah.
who were interested, it's like, oh, is that a cutscene? It's like, nah. Well, the first part you actually play. You pick the locations, and it's like a game of Simon. Left, right, the whole everything, and
That
then
that
eventually it
that was
goes.
such a cool system in the game, like, on the PS5, you, like, strum with the
Yeah.
touchpad and everything, that's so sick.
Mhm. Yeah, I was nervous at first when I saw. I'm like, oh, they're gonna go down the Guitar Hero route. When we seen
Yeah,
the John
honestly,
Murphy.
I've seen videos of people 'cause I did, there's a part in the game where you can actually just, like, play around with the
Oh
guitar,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and
That's an extra.
I looked up the chords to "Yesterday" by the Beatles. Like, I did the whole thing on it. It was fun. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so then Dina comes up and, she sits down and watches Ellie play, and Ellie stops, she's a little shy,
Mhm, mhm.
and she's like, "No, continue." And you could see Dina's face just full of emotion, probably with the information that she just found out, probably with just the beauty of Ellie playing and, just really taking in the moment. And it was nice. And she sang pretty good. So,
Yeah. She started crying.
Yeah.
She started crying. Combination of things, the song, and then I wrote down in my notes, how many people actually play instruments in Jackson?
Yeah.
That it's probably not one of those things. We understand that she learned that from Joel, but is there a music program? Is there a music teacher? Is there a school for
We
any of
take
this
we
type of
take
stuff?
live music for granted, but it's
Oh
like,
yeah, oh yeah. We definitely do. We take a lot of things for granted.
yeah.
Yeah, because then out of sight, out of mind, and then you go to a society that don't have it, and then you whip out a guitar. I'm like,
Oh,
whoa,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh
this
my
is
gosh.
magic,
How are you doing this?
right? Exactly. Burn him. He's a warlock. He's
A witch.
summoning.
A witch.
Oh, that's it. That's the other thing. So it could backfire depending on where you're at. Mhm. All right. So let's see. Oh, I mean, not through this image. We'll get to it. But I think at this point, at least according to my notes, this is also where we see the frying pan.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that was interesting with the whole thing with Isaac. That's not linked within the game, but that was interesting. That whole story of Isaac first. You just see him talking about uh, he was shy with women, and the way he would get them comfortable and get himself comfortable was cooking. He was good at cooking. He talked about some
I was like, where is this going?
yeah, where is this going? They're not showing you. You just see him walking back and forth. Then he starts showing some pans, and he says, "I guess there's some high-end pans." And
Which is
then
really cool. It's a whole little backstory to Pans and his life
yeah,
and the expense of Pans.
he heats one up. He starts talking about the material. It's iron, and then like how it conducts heat and all this stuff. I'm like, okay. And then the camera pans, and you see this dude. It's a scar. He's all a bloody mess. He's sitting on the
Camera
floor.
panned.
Yeah, and he's getting tortured. Like that's what's going
Yeah,
on.
we could skip ahead to that.
Yeah.
Look at
Wait.
that
All right.
intermission.
Yeah. Let's get to that. Hold on, because
This is just Ellie and them talking.
boom.
Yeah, one more. Yeah, there you go.
There
So
we
yeah,
go.
we see the Pans.
See
And
the
we don't see
pans.
who he's talking to. We just see him kind of just going off. He's heating it up, and obviously, it seems like an interrogation kind of scene. And then we cut to the ground. We see some dude covered in dirt, just naked, all bloody, in the shackle to the ground.
It was oh man, he's a mess. And he tells me, he's like, all right, take out your hand. So the guy takes out his hand and then he burns him. There's two soldiers guarding the door, and they're like, oh man, I can't believe this. Hey, gotta do what you gotta do. This
Yeah,
has to happen.
this is what they're trying to find out information and gathering from their conversation. The Seraphites, or he calls them scars. They're making their
Calls
own
them those
names for these
scars.
people.
The guy's praying, and he's telling me, he's like, some of your people, this is Isaac saying, some of your people already know that she's a fraud or whatever. And no one, they're not following. And then he's not buying into it. And he's like, you know what? Some of your people have crossed over and
Yeah,
come toward our side. And he's like, well, you killed kids. He's like, well, you killed our kids. Well, you broke the truth. You broke the truth. It's one of these back and forth. We don't know how this happened. And that's usually the case with some situations with conflict, right? Where it happens between two warring factions.
yeah.
Who knows how it started? It doesn't matter at this point. It
At
just
this point,
started.
the story is convoluted, and
Yeah. It doesn't
but
matter.
again, it brings us back to their martyr. This leader that they had that died, and it's their religion, and
Yeah.
you see the
Yeah.
scars on the person's face, and yeah,
And he takes his hand out again. He's like, "Go ahead, do it."
yeah,
He's like, "I'm ready. You're not gonna get anything," because the whole thing is Isaac wants to know when's the next time they're gonna attack,
he's
and
committed. He's not
he's
saying
committed.
that.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm not. I'm in it for life," and Isaac just gives up. He just
Shoots him. He
shoots him.
knows. He knows he's not going to give anything, and then the guy on the outside of the door, he's like, "Good, he deserved it." And you see who's talking, and it was that innocent guy that we saw in the beginning.
Yeah.
So you
He's
see,
yeah.
like,
He's drinking
the
the Kool-Aid
world's
now.
yeah, the world's changed people, man.
Mhm.
He's on it.
All right. So what?
So yeah, so then Dina and Ellie are back to really trying to plot out their next steps. And they see this building and they look up and they see that like one of the windows is cracked open and there's glass and you could see like a little bit of blood on the edge of the glass. So, they could see that someone climbed up and went through. So they,
When I saw that, I was like, "That's either that or somebody was thrown out the window."
oh yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know if I would see it that way of like, oh, this is how you climb in. I was like, no, this is how you get tossed out. What do you mean? Who climbs up the side? I mean, no, that's not what I got from that. I was like, oh, someone got tossed out and then they got cut in the process.
Yeah, the window could have been broken and someone got tossed out and cut.
Yeah.
So anyways,
But
yeah, they climb in. And
it's at night and it's raining and it's creepy. And I liked it. This again. That's one thing I like about the production of all this. Really pulls you in. It's immersive. You're feeling the tension throughout the whole thing. It's just a lot of tension. Great audio work. The lighting with the flashlight. That's the only light you get. There's so
I love
many times where
I
shows
love how
try to do this, and
the weather always reflects like something happening. A
Mhm.
storm, anything. It's just always something like, it's always just like, okay, it's gonna be a rough night. So yeah, they walk in, they find a WLF soldier on the ground with arrows through his chest. So they're like, what is this? Like, who did this? Yeah. More shots of Malcolm. Yeah, his name is Malcolm.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, you can
It,
see
it,
they were beating the heck out of him.
yeah, that was that's not good. Not good.
Yeah, so they sneak in. And they're used to this by now.
Yeah, they sneak in, they get in there, and then they walk
Let's go
around. And
back. Yeah, let's go back one shot.
let's go back here. There we go. And then
Yeah,
we
so
see that with the bodies, his bodies everywhere. We have Dina getting sick again. She's throwing up. It's like at this point, like we all know what's going on here.
well, this
But
was graphic. They walked in and they see these not just
oh, yeah.
bodies, they're hanging from the
Oh yeah,
ceiling.
yeah.
Seems like a lot of work to do in general.
A
Arms
lot of
tied
work.
behind their back, and
Mm-hmm.
their guts literally hanging out, like their
And there was like
intestines.
the writing on the wall, "Feel her love."
Yeah.
So definitely the scars are doing a number on the wolves in this
Now,
situation.
now, do you think this is like some kind of sacrificial thing that they're doing, or they're just sending a message to the wolves?
I think it's a combination of things, but it definitely sends a message because it's graphic, like you said.
It reminds me of like in like the show Vikings when they used to like open their back and like take their lungs out and that
Oh
whole
yeah,
thing. Like,
yeah. Take them out. It's definitely sends a message and it strikes fear. But in order for something like this to happen to really spread, you have to have somebody that survives that goes out.
yeah,
Which makes me wonder when she finds the walkie, when Ellie finds the walkie and it still works, and it's like, oh, they probably called for help, and no one's coming. It's like, well, maybe they didn't call for help. Like maybe it was like they grabbed it, it's one of the scars, said, "Hey, say something," and then they hang it up. So then that way the wolves can come and see all this.
I like how they were finding stuff that was like actually actively happening. Like they could have just found these bodies from like a long time ago. Like they just happened to walk into the building where like everything was just like hot.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I
I
mean?
mean, you bring it up. I was like, this is fairly recent for the and perfect timing, I guess,
Yeah.
for them, or unfortunate timing because it's like, oh wow, look what we discovered. Oh wow, is that a walkie-talkie? Oh wow, that worked. Oh, I hear voices. Man, we
So
showed up too early.
so if we skip the next image,
Yeah, let's go. Boom.
not this, the next one. Yeah, there we go. We see the feel her love. We see their symbol.
Mm-hmm.
They're walking around. They're trying to see what they can find in there, and then yeah, the walkie-talkie rings, and we get soldiers.
Yeah. This also from the game.
Yeah.
This I remember this part. Oh man, just because like I said, I just recently played it, and I was hoping they would handle it the way that I handled this. Because once the walkers, once the wolves walk around and they get in there, and the soldiers, and they're like, I see the bodies, and one of the guys like, I don't care who's here, the scars, whatever, you kill them, and it was like, Isaac wants them alive. No, 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 Isaac's not here. I'm here, and I want them dead, all of them. Look what they did to our people. Look at the guts. It's like, yeah, we get it, right? So they're trying to hide Ellie and Dina sneaking around, trying to find another way out. But then this is when the wolves start setting off some flares. So then
Not yet. Not yet.
wasn't this it?
No, not yet. They're
'Cause there was
walking
two
around.
parts. Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah,
second part. The second
they're
part. All
walking
right,
around right now. Ellie goes to climb up the stairs,
that's
which
right.
I was
That's
like,
right.
okay, interesting move. But yeah, she goes to climb up the stairs. One of the guys is like, I don't see anything, but he goes up. And so Ellie cowers behind like a vending machine. She's waiting. The guy
Mhm.
comes up. They turn around. Ellie tackles him. All that, all that practicing that she did with Jesse and all that,
Rear naked choke.
Yeah,
Yeah, takes him down. Starts
he's
choking
putting up
him
a good
out.
fight. Another guy comes up, is about to shoot her, you think, or shoot both of them at this point. And Dina comes out of nowhere, pops him.
Yeah,
Perfect
takes him
timing.
out. And that's when Ellie was like screaming, "Shoot for the window!" Because now all the other soldiers all hear the gunfire. They're
Yeah,
like, "Oh, this is it. It's going down." She shoots through a window. They make a run for it, jump out, and then they start heading out into the open. And then that's when they find like a little crack area. Well, this is always funny. They were like, oh, they're heading into the subway tunnel.
I was like, oh, here we go. I remember those
Yeah.
parts. I was like
hmm
crawling through. Now they're in, and they're sneaking around, and the soldiers know this place, so they find the opposite way, and they get there. Which I would like to know what way they came from, because they just
So this is I was thinking about this also. So Ellie and Dina crawl in some little crevice area to get into the tunnels because we hear it looks like they're just crawling into something, but then it's the wolves that said, oh, they're going into the tunnels, right?
yeah
So I'm assuming that when they went around, they found an actual stairs or entrance ramps to one of the train station. Itself, one of the train
yeah.
stations, just to go down.
Where the
And then
escalator is probably
yeah,
at.
the escalator. Because as they're walking through, once Ellie and Dina can stand up and they walk around, that's when they see Ellie sees a sign and it starts talking about the escalators and the different trains, the 2, the 4, and all that
But they
stuff.
start getting a little reckless. They should just start throwing flares everywhere, and one of the flares hits underneath, I guess, the train, some cordyceps. And
hmm
it's like, not really like, I guess, a hive mind, but it alerts, you know.
Well, remember they thought this area was cleared.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing that I don't understand when they bring these type of things up. Is like, how do you know this area is cleared? We
Obviously
know
not.
we don't. I mean, we know that it comes from the ground and all that. There's no 100% way to do it, even if you have it fenced around, because it comes from under. We just saw
I
that
bet
happen with Jackson.
I bet you some people like went down. They were just like, yeah, no, we're good.
They didn't even go. They didn't go. They took a look with their binoculars and it's like, you going down there? No. All right, we're writing it that it's good. You hear anything? No, I don't hear anything. There you go. But it doesn't matter. This is the part I was talking
All
about.
hell breaks loose.
Yeah, because they
That's
put the
crazy.
flares out. This is also it was a
Go to the
big
next
part of the
thing.
game. I remember that spot hiding there with Dina, and they're like, "What are we gonna do?" And I remember I had a bottle. I grabbed a bottle. You could hear the clickers and the runners just roaming around. I said, "You know what?" Took the bottle, threw it right in the middle of the group of the wolves, and all hell broke loose. The clickers go after them. The runners, they're all fighting, and then you have a clear path to get out of that area through the train, and that's what I was expecting here, but no, it didn't happen. The the clickers just automatically went running at them.
Yeah,
Just
everyone was running at them, though. Everything. If we
mhm.
skip to the next image, we could see like
Yeah,
just
yeah,
the
yeah.
light of the one more.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a lot of these shots.
Oh boy, we had a lot. Oh, there we go. Because I'm
Yeah.
looking at my notes and I'm flipping back and forth. All right, here we go.
Yeah, so they go into the train. Now they're trying to get out. The infected are banging on the glass. This was so crazy. And living in New York, being in like a train like this, just like it's
Oh yeah,
just
I was like, oh, we're going to the Bronx. This is a crowded train.
I
Where you
can't
going?
imagine
Going
like
uptown.
this seemed like a regular like weekday rush hour event. Everyone banging on the glass trying to get in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, but it was crazy. Yeah, they're coming in from all different angles. They're trying to get through, and they smash through the
it
windows.
was intense. I was like, all right, this is nice.
Mhm,
And Dina finds a latch. They pull it open. They climb up,
mhm.
and
Yep. And then
they,
she crawls up, then she pulls Ellie up, then they jump out, they go making a run for it. There's also a fence. Well, we'll see. I don't think that comes up right yet, but then they get to the fence. That fence also a big part of the game because it was very deceiving. Because I remember making it to that fence, jumping over. I'm like, okay, that stopped it. And then like,
it's
no,
like,
they're
no.
breaking. I'm like, oh man, we got to keep running because this was a full on chase the whole time, right? Remember, it's like make left, run right. You have a flashlight, you're just flashing everywhere. It was, I don't know how many times I died there. I died a lot.
Yeah, it was intense. It was intense. They break the fence. They find the turnstile. Well, they can't even get through. Dina gets stuck, and we get an infected running up, and Ellie just like instinctually just throws her arm out and gets bit, and then Dina kills the
I
infected.
wrote down two things. I wrote down two things here. I wrote down ow because that's what Ellie screamed out. She was like, "Ow! Really? Is that what you scream when you
This
get
was
bit
out.
by an infected?" I don't know if "ow" is something I'd probably just be screaming like, "Holy!" I don't know about "ow," but then also I've had that happen to me getting stuck back in the day when we had those type of old turnstiles, especially the wooden ones. I remember, actually when they switched to
Wooden
the metal
ones.
one, trying to get through and my backpack getting stuck. So one of the hooks from the turnstile hooks in between my back and my backpack, and the next I'm stuck.
It
and I
goes.
can't go
It's
through.
dangerous, man.
Yeah, so then I would have to take the
People
bed
die
back
on the
off.
turnstile.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, there was a guy that literally
What?
he jumped over the turnstile. It flipped and he like literally landed on his head and like died. And it
Oh,
was
that's
crazy.
the other turnstile. That's not the full
Well,
body
yeah,
one.
but
Like
just
this one.
the turnstile in general, bro. Like those things are hazardous. You gotta
Yeah,
be careful.
yeah. There was a movie. I don't want to drift too far off, but there was a movie that was called 3 a.m. Good luck looking for that one. I can't find it on any streaming platform. If you do find it, please leave it in the comments because I'm looking to watch that again. Really interesting movie. Bunch of short stories of situations, things happening in the city. One of them was someone gets off a train at a train stop. It's again 3 a.m. It's late. No one's at the station. They go up to one of the areas to get out, the exit, and they get stuck, like you said, in the turnstile, and they can't get out. It's one of the full body ones because it locks. Because you remember that's the whole thing. If you try to,
Yeah.
they try to go through it and it locks, and then they go forward and it's closed off. There's a gate, so now they're just stuck there, and they're
Like a
screaming and
nightmare
paranoid.
fuel.
Something happens. I forgot what it was, but
That's
that
horrible.
was a situation because remember a lot of those when they would close off when the city was doing budget cuts, they were shutting off of a lot of the train stations that usually would have a token booth clerk
Yeah.
or someone there. Now there was no one, so there's no one at the token booth clerk,
So you're just
and
stuck there.
you're just stuck because then yeah, if what they were supposed to do is those full body turnstiles are supposed to be locked. So then when you go to push, you can't because then if you take a look, you see the stairwell, and sometimes you can see all the way up, and then you'll see that they already gated off the top, so that way it's closed, so there's no entry. But they didn't do it.
That's a nightmare situation.
Yeah, and that's what this movie 3 a.m. Look it up. I could have swore. I think Rosie
But
Perez is in it.
oh, okay, we'll find it. Speaking of nightmare situations, they get out of this, thank God. But um, Dina is now looking at Ellie like, what? Like, oh man, like it's over.
Yeah,
And
over.
Ellie obviously is used to this, and she's used to traveling with someone at least that knows this, situation about her. So she sees an old a cinema, old theater, just like in the game. They break in, and Ellie's, guarding the door. She's walking around doing her thing, and she turns around, and Dina's pointing a gun at her.
Yeah, yeah,
We can skip ahead to that image.
yeah. Let's go to that one. Click.
We're like, whoa, okay, which is completely valid.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. You got to take her out. Just shoot her down. But then she's trying to calm her down. It's like, no, I'm not going to turn.
She's
Like, hey,
lucky. She's lucky.
oh,
Imagine
she's
Dina
lucky.
just was like,
Yeah, well, Dina has that emotional connection. If it was somebody who is not,
yeah, it would have been
connected in that way, it's like, boom, you're dead. It's over.
credits.
Man, roll the credits. I'm going back to Jackson.
It's over.
Mission failed. Imagine that. No.
Permadeath
Cool.
in the show.
That would have been cool in the game if that was an option. You get to play as Dina at this point. Do you shoot? Do you don't? If you shoot, then you go. You have the whole other
Oh, that
route.
would be
Maybe the
interesting.
credits roll. Remember, Far Cry would do that. Far Cry, almost every Far Cry game, you can end the game and roll credits within like the first 10, 15 minutes of the game. There was always, and then there was
That's
one
actually
with,
really cool.
with the cult. Remember that one with the cult? I think it was Far Cry 5. You're supposed to, you play as the law enforcer. Real quick, people, your law enforcement, you go into a church, you have to arrest this guy, right? And he puts his name, he's like, all right, go ahead, arrest me. And then your captain's like, go ahead, arrest him. If you stay there too long, you don't. And he's like, all right, forget it. I guess we're not going to do it. He leaves, like, there goes that. And then the credits roll. You didn't do it. Game over.
I beat the game.
Yeah, you beat the game. But one of those moments. But she says, hey, listen, I'm going to sit down in the chair over there. I'm going to bandage myself up. I'm going to go to sleep. You'll see me in the morning that I haven't turned or anything. If I have, then shoot me dead. That's fine. But I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. And then sure enough, it jumps over. We see that Dina's flashing a light in her face, trying to.
She wakes up with water splashing on her. She starts like freaking out. And it's funny because I was hoping, like, imagine Dina was like, oh man, here it goes. But, Ellie's like, look, I can't get infected. I've been bit before. And Dina,
all the scars and
lowers the light, raises the lantern. Yeah.
And then just runs over, starts kissing her. They get their moment.
It was cool because I was wondering about, like, I always thought about Ellie's tattoo and like how it's covering stuff, but then also like she burned herself specifically to hide the bite marks and stuff.
Yeah.
So and then in this moment of sharing secrets, Dina's like, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, I'm pregnant. I was like, are you sure? How do you know? It's like, oh, I took a test when I said I'd be. Oh, well, this is old, and she just whips out a bunch of them.
Yeah, I was like, where'd she have time for this? But I guess.
It was all of them there. She's just peeing all the time. She's trying to check. She's double checking, triple checking. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. This is it. This is what's happening. And then they start talking about future plans. And
I like how
Dina,
Ellie didn't know about it. It just shows like how this world that she grew up in is just like, there's so much information about just regular life and things.
yeah,
She's like, you had to pee on it. And she's like, yeah, I don't just pee on things. Like,
yeah. And we find out that Dina had this plan for a while. The whole thing with her mom, and she grew up that she was bi. Mom was like, no, the dad, because Ellie was asking, are you sure about
yeah.
this? We're just like, yeah, I'm sure. So that means, we're all gonna have kids,
But
because
now, like, now we're
Jesse's there.
raising a baby. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Jesse's there, I'm there, we're all there. And then
Ellie's like, I'm going to be a dad.
yeah, I'm gonna be a dad. This is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be all kinds of stuff are gonna happen here because while they're talking about future plans, there's explosions and stuff going off in the background. They go running outside, and then we can see off in the distance there's a war going on.
Yeah.
There is a war, and that Ellie is ready to go, but then she looks at Dina and says, "Hey, stay
Take a stand.
back."
Yeah.
Not because of I don't think you can handle yourself, but it's just the situation. You're having a
You got more
baby.
to live for now, and dealing with being pregnant and stuff. You don't.
Yeah. But now this is interesting. What do you think Dina was saying here when she said together? And she holds her hand, and they do that scene where they're holding hands, and then the camera pans out, and it's over. Do you mean together as she's going to go with her for this, or like we'll still be together no matter what happens?
It means that she's going with her,
You think that? All right. So if that happens, this is
or at least she
that's
wants to.
this is a detour, people. This is definitely a detour. For those who have played the game, this is not what happens. So then that's great because that means that we're going to see all kinds of new scenarios and situations.
Well, it could be in the next episode something comes back in track and stops Dina from going, but she wants to be with Ellie. She wants,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Oh, so you
she's
think
there
that
for her.
this was a red herring, and then once we go into the next episode,
Yeah,
she's going to start getting sick.
I
And
think
like,
it just
I can't
shows.
go.
It shows not even that because I think something happens where they keep
Maybe.
her from going, but yeah, I think at least she's gonna let Ellie know like I'm here with you no matter what. We're in this together because at this point that they're each other's thing. So I guess it's the start of the relationship that we would have seen in the
Yeah.
game.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping they do something different. I
Yeah.
like the way they're portraying Dina in this. She's funny. She has a lot of quick one-liners. Like even when she got sick the first time, and
Yeah.
again on horse, she's ready. She's like, "Yeah, no, let's go. We got people to kill. Come on, let's go.
Yeah,
We
she's
got
great.
things." She's got a bunch of great lines, and she's a fun character. Even with the kissing in the morning. No, no, morning breath. Nope. How about this? Pop in a beef jerky. Let's try this out. See if this
Oh well,
works
then
out.
they also hear they say someone's name on the walkie-talkie. I forgot which person.
Eh?
Nora. They hear Nora. They
Oh,
say Nora's
Nora.
name, and
That's
they
it.
know
There was
that
no.
these people
Now,
are near.
I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but in this part in the game, yeah, that Nora comes up, but then also Dina finds the map because they find out that was also a base. They weren't the only ones to ever go to that theater, remember? And there was a whole base of operations for the Wolves. That was one of their checkpoints.
Yeah.
And then that's when she starts looking around. She's like, I think that Nora is at this location. But I
Yeah, I
think
think
they're
they're gonna
scrapping
find
it.
it, or maybe next episode they're just rummaging
Yeah.
through
The,
stuff
the
and
only
see.
reason why I think they scrapped that is because of this scene here. And when he looked out, and like, that's the building. Remember that white building? They pointed. She already said, that's it. That's the building you have to go to, or we have to go to. And then that's when Ellie was like, all right, I'm going, but I don't know about you and the whole thing. But, it's good. Either
Yeah,
way, I'm enjoying it.
I feel like the next episode is gonna kind of up the ante a little bit. Like this episode gave us a taste of just like stress and battle and stuff, but it was more conversational. It was more, getting to deep dive between these two characters now that we're following them. So and it's cool because like we don't see Abby or anything right now, so we're not seeing that perspective at all.
Yeah, we don't see what's going on with Abby and her plans. We don't know what's going on with Tommy and everything that was happening
Yeah.
back at Jackson and Jesse. And are they still doing a rebuild? Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what's going on, but it's great. And the one thing we do know is we only have a few more episodes because what was this 7-episode season?
Oh, really?
Yeah, from what I remember, I
Oh,
have
wow.
to double look. I'm pretty sure it's only 7 episodes.
Okay.
There goes that. But yeah, no, overall, it's good. I'm enjoying it. Right? It's good.
Yeah,
Hopefully
great
everybody
show.
else
I'm
enjoys it.
enjoying it.
All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for tuning in. There we go. Peace out. Well, there we go.
Peace.
Yeah, but thanks if you made this far. Thanks for supporting us, listening to all of us. We know you guys are out there. We see the numbers, so we appreciate it. Thank you. And for all the new people who are enjoying this and want to just support us, please click that like, click that sub, whether on this platform or the other ones we mentioned. It's fine. It all goes in the same place. And it's great. And we will be back for episode 5 next week.
Yes.
So that's it, everybody. So thanks again.
Guys.
Have a good week, everyone. Peace.